Hey there, folks. Joe DeSanto here. Thanks for joining me in another installment. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference between DSCR loans, or debt service coverage ratio loans, and commercial loans, all in the real estate lending space. And I'm even going to throw in a little bit about conventional loans. So DSCR loans are kind of somewhere in the middle or between a what we call a conventional loan versus a commercial loan. So I'm going to start with the conventional loan. The conventional loan is what the average person goes and gets when they borrow money to buy a house. You go buy a single family house, you get a mortgage, get a conventional loan. And what that means is it likely would qualify for like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, government backing, and it's usually like the best terms, best rates, all that sort of stuff. Now, you can only use conventional loans for residential properties. However, what qualifies as a residential property is a property that is up to 4 units. So you can get up to you can get a conventional loan essentially for a property up to 4 units. Now, generally speaking, once you go over 4 units, you are considered in the commercial lending space. It's more like a business. So I guess more than sort of an individual investor kind of category. So once you get into commercial loans, that's above 4 units, so 5 units and up. You're no longer getting a conventional loan. You're no longer getting that government backing. You're essentially getting, regular bank loans or private bank loans. Sometimes they're still from big banks. Sometimes they're from smaller banks. They can be, and then sometimes there's banks that specialize in commercial real estate lending. Generally speaking, you are going to pay a higher rate on commercial loans. You're not going to get as favorable payback terms. You're very likely going to have to do a larger down payment and things like that. So, conventional versus commercial, there is a choice in there. Hey, if I can get up to 4 units on conventional and get better terms and so on, why wouldn't I do that? Even commercial loans, you may even have to annually submit financials for yourself and or the LLC that owns the property. The loan could get called, things like that. Conventional loans, none of that can happen. Now, the DSCR loans are sort of in the middle. And the idea of these loans is that you're not qualifying for the loan based on your income or the income of your business. Say it's a real estate business getting commercial lending. You're qualifying for the loan based on the rental income of the property. So, that's the debt service coverage ratio, meaning does the property earn enough money to cover all the debt service and expenses and so on? And if it does, and likely that would have to be verified with actual leases, that you have contracts with people for that will show the bank how long into the future renters are contractually obligated to be giving you money. That will be a factor. You don't necessarily have to provide all your personal income or income for the LLC. And the reason it's sort of in the middle is because you can do the DSCR loans for larger residential properties, so 5+ units. But you can also do it for 1 to 4 units as long as they're investment properties. You would never get a DSCR loan for your personal residence because in that case you would just be qualifying on your own income. But here's the kind of funny distinction, like even with conventional loans, if you go buy a 4-unit property that has 3 of the units rented with leases and you occupy one of the units, you can use 75% of the rental income from the other units as part of your qualifying. So you can use essentially the rent income as a debt service coverage in your own qualifying for a residence. So that's kind of a unique difference. Now, also with commercial loans, we call those commercial loans, even though you are more likely personally applying for the loan, If you're buying a commercial property, you're going to buy it based on the rents you can get, and the rent you get, especially if it's already leased, is going to help you qualify for that loan. So in all cases, as an investor, whether you're getting a conventional, the DSCR, or the commercial, you're going to be using rental income to help you qualify. It's possible that with the DSCR, you really don't have to put much forward in terms of your own personal income outside the rental property. And if the rental property can have a good enough coverage ratio, it could qualify on its own. But not always do you find that. So you might need to bridge the gap there with some sort of personal income qualification. So, that's kind of the difference. And that's why I say it falls in between sort of a conventional and a commercial. I'll also say that generally if you're doing strictly commercial real estate, like, office buildings or strip mall or whatever, likely that's going to fall in the commercial loan category, and you probably have an LLC and all that. The DSCR probably is going to apply more in the residential rentals, anywhere from 1 to, however many units. I don't know how far up you can go before they truly consider it commercial. There might be a limit there. And then, of course, back to the conventional, I think whether it's owner occupied or not, I don't think it necessarily needs to be. You can get a conventional loan up to 4 units. So I would always opt for that if you can get it and qualify, because you're going to get the best terms on the loan. So there you go. Hope that was helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.